If you're running a call funnel to get clients and it has stopped working, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to fix it. I've used call funnels to generate millions of dollars in sales over the last couple of years, and I've seen this huge shift in between the funnels that are converting and the funnels that aren't. And the big difference between these funnels that are generating 6 figures a month or more and the ones that are struggling to convert come down to just a few little things. So in this video, I'm going to break down 5 very specific things you can do to fix your call funnel, and then we'll talk about exactly how you know which one to focus on for you. Really quick, if you don't know me already, my name is Brice, and I've been in this online world for nearly a decade now, and I help companies sell high-ticket offers online. So if you're new to this channel, welcome. I've got a ton of stuff on this channel all about this kind of stuff. If you're coming back, thanks for being back. Excited to have you here. Now let's dive in. Now, call funnels are the main way that I've been generating sales for my clients ever since like 2019, right around whenever evergreen webinars shit the bed on us. So if you have been running a call funnel and you're seeing that either your call volume is going down, your cost per call is going up, your show up rates are dropping, you're getting lower close rates than before, and you're just dealing with the same objections over and over again, this is a sign that something needs to get fixed. So let's go over the 5 things that we can do to fix them. And then again, I'm going to show you exactly how to know which one to focus on for you. So the very first of these 5 core fixes that we want to talk about is your actual ads. So look, I've been inside of so many of your ad accounts. I can tell you what most people do is they come up with some ads, they get them running, they start converting, they're making money. And so then they just leave those ads in there and then they don't touch anything for like 6 months. And sometimes for longer. I've seen some of you who have just been running the same ads for like a year. And then you wonder like why your results are going down because that messaging isn't working. So one principle that I want to talk about, and then I'm going to give you like some actual specific strategies. So the first one is NDFE. That stands for new, different, faster, or easier. This is a really big one to think about when you're looking at your ads because so many people, especially if you've had your offer for a long time, maybe you've had it for 2 or 3 years and it used to work really well and now it's not. One of the big issues that you're running into is your offer probably was NDFE before, meaning when you came out with that messaging, it sounded like something new, different, faster, or easier than what people had already heard about in the past. The problem is, now that your offer has been out for 2 or 3 years, it's not NDFE anymore. A bunch of competitors saw that you were making money. They came into the market. They started running the exact same messaging, probably like running the exact same messaging and changing the numbers a bit. I remember one time we had a client who was running a real estate offer and she was crushing it with like I'm going to show you how to close 5 homes in 30 days. And then what do you know? The next competitor came out and they were like, hey, I'm going to show you how to close 7 homes in 30 days. So it was just like, people see what you're doing, they see that it's working, and so they come out and copy you. And so part of our marketing is just constantly evolving to make sure that when people see our ad and they see our offer and they start to understand what we have, they perceive it as something that is NDFE, new, different, faster, or easier. That's just kind of like one of the foundational things that people need in order to pay attention to your ads. Otherwise, it starts to blend in with the messaging and you start to get lower conversion rates. So that would be one. The other one that I would say is a really big one right now is you need volume and variance in order to find success online right now with your ads. So when I look inside all of our best ad accounts, we have a ton of different creatives. They're all speaking to the same core promise. Like our messaging, always the outcome is the same. By the time that someone gets to the end of our ad, by the time they get to our landing page, we're all promising them the same result that our offer can get them. The thing that changes is when we have an ad, these first couple sentences up here, the actual hook, the thing that we're grabbing people's attention with, this changes. And this changes based on the pain point that we think someone has. And this changes based on like the avatar situation. So again, a couple of examples. Going back to this real estate offer, since I already started with that one. We might be talking to real estate agents who are brand new. So that would be like one avatar situation. Or maybe they have like 5-10 years of experience. So they're going to have like a different background that they're coming into this with, and they're going to be in a different situation. We can help them the same. Like our offer is great for both of these people, but someone who is brand new and someone that has 10 years of experience are going to have very different backgrounds and very different pain points and very different viewpoints. So we're taking that into consideration when we're coming up with our ads. Other pain points that might be an issue. Like some of these people might be struggling with the fact that they're just not getting enough leads. Some of these people might be struggling with the fact that they're getting leads, but they're not actually able to convert these leads into customers. Some of them might be struggling with the fact that they just don't know what to say when it comes to making videos. Like they know that they should be posting online, or they feel like they know that they should be posting online, but they just actually don't know what to say. That's a different pain point. That's not the, hey, you're not generating leads pain point. That's the, hey, you don't know what to say in your content pain point. All of these might be things that our offer can help somebody with. But again, what I've seen in a lot of accounts is they figured out that the pain point that worked really well for them was, hey, you're not getting enough leads, which is, again, a very effective pain point. And if we look at, the market, a lot of people would be attracted to that. The problem is they're missing all the people in the market that they could help who don't think that their number one problem is just generating leads, because maybe they've figured out that it's a different problem. Again, maybe it's they don't know what to say in their content, or they're getting leads, but they don't know how to nurture them, or people just, aren't showing up to their open houses, or whatever it is that they're doing. And so that's why what we want to have is volume and variance. We want to have lots of different messaging where what we're doing is calling out to different pain points and different situations that our avatar might be in, so that we can find success and that we have a lot of creative diversity inside the account. Also, when I say creative diversity, this means having images and videos. So one thing that we know from talking with Facebook reps and all of these things is that Facebook has like tens of thousands of data points on every single person. So Facebook knows who is most likely to convert based on images and who is most likely to convert based on video. And these are not the same people. Like, these are two different demographics. So if you're only running videos inside of your account, you're missing out a group of people. And if you're only running images inside of your account, you're missing a group of people. And so again, going into that variance, what we want to have is just variety inside of the account on all of these different things. Now, what does that actually look like for you? That means instead of just coming up with a group of ads and launching them and seeing that they're working and then just leaving them in your account for 6 months and not touching them, what we want to do is we want to have like a weekly or at least a bi-weekly cadence where we are coming up with new ads, we're loading them into the account, and then we're measuring what's working and iterating on those ads. So this could be as simple as every week, maybe, or let's say every 2 weeks, you come up with 2 video scripts to put inside your ad account. And then you give that to someone on your team, your media buyer, your graphic designer, your VA, whoever it is. They come up with 3 or 4 image ads for you. Now you've got a whole set of new ads you can come up with. You can use AI to write the copy. You can use AI to come up with the video scripts. You can use AI to come up with the images. Like, these days, AI has made it so that the volume of creatives we can get out is much higher. The amount of work that it takes these days to get new creatives is way easier than it used to be. So we can do this, and every week or every other week, we're just loading new ads into the account. And I can tell you, if you have been just letting your ads coast for months, but you're not getting the results you want, again, the big one is go look at your offer and make sure it's not this. Make sure it's not that someone came into your market and is just making the exact same claims and the exact same messaging, maybe even just running like literally the exact same ads you are. So make sure that this isn't the issue, and then just focus on this. Just have a process to regularly come up with new ads. I can tell you, for so many people who I have been inside of their ad accounts and looked at what they're doing, this is the problem. They're just running the same ads that they've been running for the last 6-9 months. The second one that we want to do is content retargeting. So again, starting with principles here, there is a principle called the exposure effect. The exposure effect is a psychological principle that basically says people tend to like things that they are exposed to on a regular basis. The first time you see something, you don't really like it. You don't really care for it. You might not even notice it that much. But if you're exposed to the same thing, maybe the same image, the same person, the same message, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times, you tend to start to have some kind of attraction or appeal to that thing. And so what we want to do is make sure that as people are seeing our super direct call funnels where we're running direct response ads into a, hey, I have this thing, let's talk about you buying it. What we also want to do is make sure that they're just seeing us in a non-salesy context, or in like a value-driven context. It's just kind of like value-added marketing, you could call this. But it's like, what we want to do is just make sure people see us. And one of the best ways to do this, and you might have experienced this before, maybe in your business, maybe you've experienced with other people, but it's like, if you're on YouTube right now, if you spend time on YouTube watching long form content, you tend to like that person. The people that you watch, you tend to end up liking them. You tend to think that they're pretty, like they can demonstrate what they're doing. You tend to get some kind of value or entertainment from them. So you keep going back to them. We can create that same effect with content retargeting. So we can take the content that you've been creating online, whether that's for Instagram, whether that's for YouTube, whatever it is, and you can load it up as a retargeting campaign. And you can show a diverse group of messaging from like case studies, testimonials, you just adding value and teaching something, you sharing ideas, you sharing updates about where you think your industry or your market or whatever it is that you typically tend to talk about in your content based on your offer and your industry and all that, where it's all going, all of this kind of stuff. So if you do that, then what will happen is as people are going through your funnel, they're seeing your ads. They're also just going to start seeing tons of different like videos from you on social media. And these don't have to have a button. They don't have to have like a call to action. They don't have to be direct response. They can just be all different kinds of videos that people will see, that people will get exposed to you. And Google came out with this principle a while ago. It was like the 7-11-4 rule, I think is what it was called. And I've seen other studies about this that even put the touch points as high as like 18 or 20. But the key idea here is that people need 7 touch points and over 11, people need 7 hours of content. People need 7 hours over 11 touch points in 4 different situations or 4 different scenarios in order to build up the trust with a brand in order to buy something from them. Now, this works. This is why organic content works great, is because over time we're consistently exposed to someone's messages. And on a platform like this on YouTube, you could easily binge watch 7 hours or a few hours of someone's content. Now, we can recreate that same thing with retargeting, right? We can just come up with retargeting ads where like this could be a case study where we're talking about a student success. This could be like a testimonial reel. This could just be like a piece of content that we posted on IG that's just like some ideas or tips or tools. This could be a little bit more of like a personal story, something like that, why you got into what you're doing, all of that stuff. And as we run these, people are exposed to these messages, and this exposure effect takes into place where people start to see this. Now, imagine if people saw all of this content from you while they're also seeing your direct response ads. So it's like they're seeing some of your direct response ads, they're seeing some videos from you, they're seeing some direct response ads, they're starting to see this. It's like, do you think they would become more likely to convert? Or do you think if they're going through your funnel, like maybe they already, opted in or they filled out an application, they're waiting for a phone call, do you think it'd be valuable for them between the time of when they booked a call before they show up, they start to see different case studies about what you've done for people, and they start to see testimonials of other results that you've gotten for other people. So this is why content retargeting can be really, really effective, and why it's a really good thing that you can implement into your account. It's not very expensive, and you can use this to just continue to get better results with the ads that you're already running. All right, so on to the third one, your thank you page transformation. This is a big one. So if I look at most funnels that I've been into in the last, 6 months, I've probably looked at dozens of funnels in the last 6 months. Most people, they fill an application and they get to a page and it says like, hey, thank you, your call is confirmed. And it says the same thing, hey, please be in a quiet place while you take this call and be on your computer, make sure you show up. That's usually the extent of it. And so what we want to do is we want to start thinking about the time between when someone books a call and when someone shows up is a really important time frame in order to give someone and pre-frame them correctly into the actual call. So where and I'm a victim of this myself. So I used to think about this as a time to remind people to show up. And I don't think about it that way anymore. Now I think about it as a time where it's like a lot of times before someone comes into the funnel, they're in like scanner mode. They're just going through, they're going through everything really quickly. They're not watching your whole VSL. They're not reading every word on your landing page. They're not reading every word on the VSL page. They're not listening to every word, but they're interested enough to fill out the application. Once they get through the application, now they're interested. And now they're going to start really paying attention and doing some research to figure out, okay, what is it that I'm about to have a phone call about here in the next several days or a couple hours or whatever it is. So now they're really in like digestion mode of trying to figure out what's going on. They're going to go do their research. So why don't we help them do that research and make sure we provide them with all the information that they need in order to make an informed decision when we have a call. So shout out to Jeremy Haynes. I got a ton of this information from him and it's been super helpful. But basically what our videos look like now is, what our thank you pages look like now is they are a bunch of different videos where we are answering the most common questions and objections that we get on calls in these short little 2 to like 4 minute videos on the page. And these are just all stacked on the thank you page, as well as we have some testimonies and case studies down here as well. So when someone gets to the thank you page, they start to see all these things about like, hey, we want to sell them on our methodology. Really important here is like, we're not trying to sell people on the product. We're just trying to sell people on our methodology, what we can do for them. We're talking about the cost, the investment. If you want to reveal price, you can put that right here. You can talk about like actual results people have gotten, any other common objections and stuff that you get on calls. You can add those underneath there. And then again, just a bunch of testimonies and case studies. Another thing we do is we just take all of this information, we put it in a PDF, and we put it in a download right here on the page, so that if someone's not a video watcher, because we know that some people watch videos, some people prefer to read stuff. So if they're not a video watcher, they can just download all this information right here, and it's just in a PDF. And so what this has done is this has really helped us start to help frame people's mindset before they're going to a call. And so what we've seen is we are having better show up rates, and people are showing up more with the context that we need them to have, because for a lot of us, and you might have had this issue as well, it's like, people say like, hey, I don't understand why people have these questions or are running into all these objections. I answered all of this in my VSL. And so, we come into it with a mindset of thinking like, oh, we already said this in our marketing somewhere. The reality is most people don't listen to everything you say. So if you look at your VSL, watch rates, they probably look something like this, where it's like a bunch of people drop off in the beginning and then people just slowly keep dropping off. And maybe that important thing that you think that people need to know in order to be framed for the call is right back here. And so most people just don't get there. And so what we want to do is make sure that all of this information that we hope that somebody had here, if they came in, booked a call right here or booked a call right here, then all of that information is here. All of that information is also in this little PDF right here. We can also take that information and send it out to people in emails, which brings me to my next point. So again, most people don't watch your VSL entirely before booking a call, unless you're running like a super short, like little 4-minute VSL. But for a lot of people who are running like a little longer VSLs, maybe like 15, 20 minutes, and most people don't watch the whole thing, is what we've seen. So we actually had a client who would have the question on the form for a long time of like, hey, did you watch the VSL? And 70% of people always said, no, I didn't watch the actual video. And so eventually we just took that question off because it's like, what's the point of knowing? It's like, most people don't watch it. Cool. So now what we want to do is start to use practices like this, where we're taking all this information, we're putting it here. And then we also take all this information and we're just sending out in email sequences. So before, what we would do is most of our emails and things would be reminders, and we would always have like a pre-call video. But we would have like again, it was basically like another VSL. It was like a 15, 20 minute pre-call video to try to give them all the information they need. And we just found that most people didn't watch it. So now what we do is we have our immediate reminders. We have our 24-hour reminder. We have a 2-hour reminder. And then we have a 10-minute reminder. And then the rest of our emails are all content-based emails. Where again, we're trying to take the question of how can we make sure that this person has all the information that they need in order to make an informed decision before they get on the call. And keeping in mind that like most people are going to go out and do research, but they are not going to look at every single word that we say in all of our marketing. So what can we do? Well, again, we put all this information here, we put it all into a PDF, and now what we can do is just take it and break it out into emails and send that to people before the call. So they start getting emails that talk about all this important thing. So if they didn't get it in the VSL and they didn't catch it here, then they can at least catch it here. And so again, what we've been doing, Jeremy, I got a lot of this from Jeremy as I've been like beefing up our call funnel stuff. And he's been super helpful. But I think he was saying that they will send like 6, 7 emails a day, something like that. We're not sending that many. I think we're sending like 2 or 3 emails a day for the first 48 hours. So we're sending out an extra like 6 emails or something. But all of those emails came from what are the biggest questions that people keep showing up to on calls that we keep having to answer? And what are the biggest objections that keep holding people back? And so we've got all of that information, and we're just really trying to make sure that we're handing it to people in a way that they will consume it, keeping in mind that a lot of people, some people consume video, some people read, some people don't, some people check all the emails, some people don't. So that's what we're doing with the email sequences. Then on to the last one. So we were relying on a lot of automation. So we would have automated emails, automated text messages, all that kind of stuff. And when we just went back to having a personalized message that was actually coming from a human texting someone, that was way more effective in actually starting one-on-one conversations with people. So we kind of got a little over-reliant on on automation. And now what we're doing is we just text people. And that first text message is basically just a text message that says, hey, we got your call booked. We saw your appointment come through. Can you just respond the word yes to confirm your appointment? And usually the response that we get is just yes. That's all they say because they want to confirm their appointment. Now we started a conversation and now we can say, excellent, cool. Thank you so much. Took a look at a application. I'm really excited to talk. And then we can also follow up and say something later like, hey, I was looking at, insert something personalized about what you did research about them, this prospect that you're going to be talking to on the phone, whether it's, if it's a business related offer, their business or something about something on their application or whatever it is. I'm excited to talk to you tomorrow, something like that. But these like personalized messages have been really good for starting one-on-one communication. And again, what this does is it gets people actually talking to the person that they're going to be talking to on the phone with later. And some really good conversations have come out of this, So like one, we're getting people to at least confirm their appointment by responding yes. And two, it actually starts like good conversations with people. And so that has been really good. And it's helped us increase the show up rate just by adding that human connection back into the outreach. So here's one like little bonus one. I told you I'd give you 5, but I'm going to give you 6. This has just been such a huge one, which is controlling your online reputation. So many companies that I work with that have been in this online world for, a number of years, if you go like they'll start to see their sales go down and then you go and Google their name. And what happened was somebody posted a really bad review about them somewhere. And I think it's unfortunate because all these search algorithms and Reddit and all these things and Trustpilot, I think they kind of figured out that like negative reviews get more clicks. And so if you have 10 positive reviews and 1 negative review, the negative review is always the one that shows up at the top. And so one thing that's really valuable is to just go online, Google yourself, like your name, reviews, your name, scam, whatever it is, and see what people are saying about you online. And unfortunately, if you have some issues that you need to deal with, like you just need to have a plan for it. So, for example, one of my clients, someone went through the program, didn't get the results they were looking for, and went through and like badmouthed them on Trustpilot, left like a 1-star super bad review. The problem was they didn't have any other reviews on Trustpilot. And so if you Googled their name plus reputation, the first thing that came up was this 1-star review on Trustpilot and nothing else. And so what we did was we just came up with a process to make sure that we got more reviews on Trustpilot. And so now for that same brand, that 1-star review is still there. But if you go on there, you'll also find like 50 other really positive reviews. So it's just like 1 or 2 bad reviews around a bunch of other good reviews. So it makes it look a lot better. Reddit is also a really big one that I've seen where people will go to Reddit to like complain. And I think Reddit just kind of naturally has, types of people that do that. So, and what you can do is just, again, keep an eye out for these things. If there's a conversation happening about your brand online on Reddit, I would rather be engaged in it than not be engaged in it. So that's really just a good one to know. But like, you want to keep an eye out on that thing. The other thing that helps with this a lot, I find is just like, make your own content about this kind of stuff. If someone's asking for reviews and stuff about your company, like make a YouTube video, about your company reviews, your company feedback, and like, post your own side of the story and talk about your side of the stuff. Because again, like people are going to go out and do research about you. They're not dumb these days. They're going to go out and find out who you are, what you do, all of that stuff. So controlling that information and like having a part of the conversation, I think is really valuable. The one other thing I would say that's really important for this, because I've seen this too, is also having no reputation online is not good. So what I've seen for some companies is they are new, they get started running ads and they're making money on ads. But then if you go Google them, nothing comes up. Like they've never posted online. They don't have an active social media presence. They don't have any of that stuff. And again, what I've seen is over the long term, this will negatively affect you. So I do think it's really valuable. Starting with ads is a great place to go. It's an amazing place to like get traffic and get traction. Once you validated your offer and you know that you're going to be sticking with this, a good thing to do is like start investing time and resources into making like YouTube content. Something as simple as like doing a weekly or bi-weekly YouTube video will help because when someone Googles your name, all your content starts to show up on that page too. And so people can, again, go online, find out more stuff about you, learn about you. And also it just helps with this, right? Like imagine some company finds about you through your ads and then they go online, they Google you, they find your YouTube channel and they just binge watch like 4 hours of your YouTube videos. Like that's a really effective way to help someone understand who you are and help convert into your offer. So that would be the last one, is like no reputation is not a good thing. You definitely want to make sure that you have an online reputation, and people can find good stuff about you when they're Googling you. So all of this, hopefully you found that helpful. Those were the 5 ones. We talked about ads. We talked about content retargeting. We talked about thank you pages. We talked about email sequences, and we talked about personalized outreach. And we also talked about bonus. We talked about that online reputation, which was number 6. So how do you know which one of these to focus on? Well, I do think it's helpful to be able to map out your funnel. And this is a little spreadsheet that I'll put just beneath this, where you can actually like map out your funnel and see, okay, how much are you spending every month? What are you paying per click? What are your conversion rates across the funnel? And you can figure out where are the parts of your funnel that are not working. So if your CPC is super high, if your opt-in rate is really low, what you could do is you could work on your ads in that landing page. If your show-up rate is low, if your enrollment rate is low, what you could do is you could work on that thank you page and that process between when someone actually books a call and when they actually are on the phone. So you can put all these numbers in here, and then you can also play with like, okay, and if I was able to get my application rate up, from 10 to 15%, how would that affect my profitability? Versus if I spent that same amount of time and energy trying to get my, enrollment, my close rate from 20 to 25%, and you can start to kind of see what are the different impacts these different things would have on your funnel. But a big one, and a lot of the ones we talked about, is stuff that will really have an impact here. And so, your ads, your landing page is more on the front end. Having a better VSL is really going to help your application rate, and having something that's like new, different, faster, easier as an offer is really going to help this. And then the other stuff is really going to help this. So you can kind of figure out what would be the things that would make the biggest impact in your business, and you can plug in this little calculator, and this will give you a bunch of cool little numbers. So I'll put a link to this just below this video as well. Otherwise, that is it for this video. So I'll leave you with 2 last ideas that have been really helpful for getting these funnels converting better. So one of the biggest ones is getting a feedback loop between marketing and sales. Like, this is a huge one where a lot of times what's happening is marketing is doing all this stuff to get sales calls. And then sales is actually talking to the people who are seeing the marketing messages, going through the funnel, and hearing like word for word the exact language the customer uses to talk about objections, what they're looking for in the market, what they're seeing from other competitors, all of this stuff. And then it just stops with sales. And so if you can create a feedback loop where sales talks to marketing and marketing talks to sales, so that on a weekly basis, you can break down like, what are they hearing on sales calls? Is there anything that they're hearing where they're coming into the funnel with like the wrong context? Maybe we have like the wrong messaging that's attracting the wrong people or setting the wrong expectations for people. Are there any common objections that are like consistently coming up that we could address in our content? Are there any like really good stories or like just specific key phrases or nuggets that really stood out to you that someone saw that like resonated so strongly, and you're like, oh man, that was like, that one really hit. And if we could get more people to hear that message, that would really make an impact and make our sales a lot easier. Whatever that is, if you can create this feedback loop, and it can be as simple as just having like a Google form where every week, like sales fills this out and gives it to marketing. Marketing reviews that information. They use that to create content and ads and stuff. And then that will generate more sales calls. And then sales can, fill out the form at the end of the week, send that back to marketing. That is super helpful and can get like the best information, because the people who are on the phone talking to people have some of the most in-depth knowledge about, who are our ideal prospects and who's actually coming through the funnel, and what are their, how are they framed, and what are their expectations, and what is all the stuff that's helping us close sales or not close sales. So that's a really big one. So the very last one, and I'll leave you with this, is just as a fundamental principle, is like, you guys, we can't be lazy anymore. Like, so many people that I talk to want to hit $1 million a year or add another $1 million to their business. And like 95% of companies, I think it is, don't hit $1 million a year run rate. So it's like, you're trying to do something that is super hard. And if you've accomplished that, you have a bunch of people like chomping at your heels trying to accomplish the same thing you are in the same market. And so it's like, it's just, it's competitive out there, and it takes a lot of work in order to get to the level of results where people are doing multi-7-figure year businesses. And so you can't be lazy with this stuff. It's like, it's a constant process of testing and iteration and improving in order to push to get to the levels that we want to get to. And so I think that, like if if selling over the phone is your main revenue generator, that is the way that you grow your business and generate sales. Like, everything we need to be doing should be optimizing to have that number one focus of like making sure we have as many spots available on the calendar to get people to talk to, and trying to talk to as many people as possible so we can close as many people as possible. Like, that's it. And that takes testing, that takes content creation, that takes funnel optimization, that takes all of those things. And so that's everything. Just again, like, to kind of summarize all of this, like, do call funnels still work great? You know, like, if you're worried that call funnels aren't working anymore, call funnels are absolutely fantastic way to do it. Like, humans selling to humans over the phone has worked since we had a phone, and I would bet that it will continue working long in the future. But we need to have better ads, more diverse messaging. We need to make sure that we have NDFE in our messaging: new, different, faster, easier. We talked about using retargeting with content for the exposure effect, and just trying to get more time with our ideal prospects before they actually get on the phone with us. We talked about building up our thank you pages and like really enhancing our thank you pages with these breakout videos and our testimonials and case studies and all of that information there on the thank you page. We talked about also taking that same information, putting in the email sequences. We talked about adding a personalized touch to your sales process. So if you've gotten away from actually just having personalized outreach, maybe you're relying too heavily on automation, you could try getting your sales guys to get back to personally texting with people before the call. And then we talked about making sure that you control your online presence. You know, go Google yourself with, you know, your brand name, your name and reviews, your name and scam, all these things, see what pops up online, and then make an intention to like control that kind of thing and see what shows up out there. And if conversations are happening about your business, you know, try to make sure that you're participating in them. Or you're doing what you need to do to make sure that people also see the good stuff that you're doing, and not just whatever bad stuff is floating to the top of the search pages, because that's what gets the most clicks, you know? And the spreadsheet that I shared with you is just below this video. Also, I've got some information. Like, if you want to work together on doing this, this is what I help my clients do every single day. So I've got the links just below that in the description as well. Otherwise, I've got a bunch of other videos on this channel all about this kind of topic. So if you actually want to see like how we run ads and scale ads for this type of funnel, I've got that video popping up over here along with some other ones. So check those videos out over there. I hope you have a great day out there, and I hope to catch you in another video soon.